As the country begins to digest the revelations in the Paradise Papers leaks about offshore tax havens, it's important to not lose sight of the fact that the congressional tax plan has been released, along with promises that it will end the gaming that has allowed multinational firms to shift trillions in profits offshore. Supposedly, the plan is to bring past profits and jobs back to the United States and prevent future offshoring. However, a closer look at the text of the House bill suggests that the reality does not match the rhetoric. U.S. companies have about $2.6 trillion booked offshore, on which they owe $752 billion in unpaid taxes. The House bill offers these companies a one-time deal to tax those profits at discounted rates of 12% for profits held in cash and 5% for other types of invested profits. That's well below the current 35% rate. It's a tax break of more than $500 billion. There is no economic case for discounted tax rates on profits already earned. In theory, lowering tax rates will incentivize future behavior. In this instance, the money is already earned. There is no loss of jobs or investment incentives by requiring companies to pay what they already owe before moving to a new system. Findings from a 2011 U.S. Senate investigation indicate that there will be less benefit than advertised from the return of the profits to the United States. The Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations found that half the money booked offshore was routed through tax havens but reinvested in the United States. We would be bringing much of the money back from Manhattan. History also provides a caution about the benefits of repatriating these profits. The last time we gave companies a break on profits booked offshore was in 2004. The companies that took advantage of the break used the money for executive bonuses and dividends. They did not use the money for creating new jobs, raising workers' wages, or investing in new factories or equipment. The top 15 companies to take advantage of the so-called tax holiday laid off a total of 20,000 workers in the 2 years after the tax break. There is no reason to believe this time would be different. The public benefit of a repatriation effort is derived from the revenue generated by the amounts companies pay toward what they owe in deferred taxes. That money could be used for rebuilding the nation's infrastructure or meeting other public needs. A tax holiday that forgives hundreds of billions in corporate taxes undermines the public benefit. It rewards the companies that dodged taxes for all those years. Indeed, J.P. Morgan analysts have recently reported that we expect little economic effect from firms repatriating funds to the United States. Also, gimmicks in the tax bill would give new incentives to move jobs offshore. Currently, U.S. companies and individuals owe taxes on earnings wherever they are made, whether that's Des Moines or Dublin. The new bill changes that long-standing parity so that companies would only owe taxes on profits they book in the United States, or, in extraordinary circumstances, companies would pay a lower tax on profits of offshore subsidiaries. It is safe to say that many offshore profits will go untaxed. Under the original version of the bill, companies that moved some U.S. profits to offshore subsidiaries would have paid some taxes on those profits. But a recent amendment to the tax bill allows for deductions and other accounting games that nullify any benefit. After the amendment was adopted, the estimates on how much revenue would be raised dropped from $155 billion to $7 billion. Additionally, the bill exempts ordinary overseas profits from taxes. If the profit margins are extraordinary, the tax rate for those profits are half what they are for domestic companies. Multinationals will be incentivized not just to move profits on paper to tax havens but to move actual jobs and operations to countries with lower taxes. The bill's sponsors say they are lowering the rate to reduce the exodus of jobs, but even the new rate of 20% for profits booked here is higher than the 0% rate for ordinary profits and the 10% rate for some extraordinary profits booked overseas. These changes would put small businesses and wholly domestic companies at a further disadvantage. Main Street businesses cannot play the games associated with putting their profits offshore. We should not accept changes to the tax code that give big businesses unfair advantages over smaller ones. Gary Kalman is executive director of the FACT Coalition, a nonpartisan alliance of more than 100 state, national and international organizations working toward a fair tax system that addresses the challenges of a global economy.